Game of the season tonight right here at Dirks Field against Pocatello. Then, of course, they play for real on Friday night against Idaho Falls. Now, what to remember that the Trappers have won 2 straight Pioneer League championships. And if you talk to these guys, they want more.
It's definitely something that's in the back of my head. You know, I believe 3 years in a row would be a Pioneer League record. So I'd like to be in the record books.
The return of Matt Huff and his bat, remember he hit .310 last year, should help in the quest for a 3rd title. If that is to be, they'll have to do it behind their 3rd manager in 3 years, Jim Gilligan.
He used to come like this, Frank, and he'd leave his mitt back and he'd get out of the box before the hitter would.
Gilligan is a man with experience. During his 14-year stay at Lamar, he won over 500 ball games and spent last year as the Traps pitching coach.
Well, I had the best time of my life last summer. Of course, I wasn't the head man last year. I was a pitching coach, and I was allowed to be one of the guys. But still, in pro ball, you get along with your players a little bit easier because they're a little bit older and they're just more mature, and it's a little bit more fun for me that I don't have to be a heavy.
It's really too early to tell just how good this year's team will be, but Gilligan is optimistic.
Last year, we were running around looking for pitchers. This year, we have too many of them, and it's a great situation to be in. So I just think we have pretty good overall balance. We have kids that can hit the ball out of the park. We have kids that can run. We have guys that can throw. Everybody that we have on this club is dying for the chance to play pro baseball.
I'll tell you what, the Trappers are well known for playing good baseball. Tonight's game starts at 7 o'clock. Admission, $2. Not too bad, so come on out. Well, after nearly a week on the road, the Trappers kick off a 4-game homestand tonight against Pocatello. Now, during that road trip last week, the Traps won 3 games, lost 3 games, scored 54 runs, gave up 51. A wild week for the Traps.
I'm glad to be back home. This is summer weather. I've just spent the winter in Butte, and it's just good to be back here and with familiar surroundings and I found out a little bit about the club. We know what directions we have to go as far as improving the club. And I tell you, I had a bad haircut before I left Salt Lake, and that's sort of grown back a little bit, so I think the trip has been pretty successful.
Well, don't forget that tonight's game starts at 7 o'clock. A big crowd expected tonight, so make your way on over to the ballpark.
Getting on the scoreboard, bottom of the first inning, John Leake, who played at the University of Miami on their national championship team, doubles down the left field line. Anthony Blackman scores 1-0 Trappers. Trappers also excellent in the field. Look at this double play. Shortstop Steve Scott to first for 1, throw to home Frank Colson for 2. Excellent double play. Then Anthony Blackman, an opposite field single, drives in the winning run as the Trappers break a 4-4 tie, and they win that exhibition game tonight 8-4. 100 on hand, and they opened in style. The players arrived in limousines. The ball to start the game was delivered from 5,000 feet above the field, but the Trappers were in trouble from the beginning. They fell behind 6-0. James Malseed delivered a great big home run, but the Trappers wasted no time in coming back. David Ward drives in 2 runs, and that puts the Trappers ahead 7-6 after trailing 6-0. Then Neil Reynolds triples, 2 more runs score, and the Trappers win the game by a score of 12-6. Every game they've won this year, they've had to come from behind to win it. Medicine Hat pitcher Terry Wilson loads the bases with 3 walks, and then he walks John Leake, forcing in Jim Ferguson. 1-0 Trappers. Catcher Frank Colson then singles to right, 2 more runs score. It is 3-0 Trappers. Then Matt Huff clears the bases with a towering home run, and it is 7-0 Trappers. The Trappers are waltzing to their 18th consecutive win. They lead 10-3 in the 7th. If they win, they can tie the Pioneer League record of 19 straight Wednesday night in Idaho Falls.
The Pioneer League record set way back in 1980 by the old Lethbridge Dodgers. Steve Cyphers is in Idaho Falls for tonight's game. And Steve, you've been around this club today. What do you think? Can they pull it off?
Well, of course they can pull it off. They haven't won 18 without being a pretty good club. The wind's blowing out here tonight at McDermott Field, but it's not important whether I think this team can win 19 in a row. I guess Jim Gilligan might have a few thoughts. You're the skipper of this club. Jim, what do you think? 19 in a row, is that going to happen tonight?
Well, we're certainly going to try. We've been extremely fortunate. We've had a lot of close ball games that we've pulled out, and partly due to being a good ball club, and you have to have a little luck on your side. This is a good ball club. We had to really fight to beat them when we had them down in Salt Lake. We respect them, and we know they can beat us, especially up here in Great Falls where they get last up and the wind's blowing out. Sort of like slow pitch softball strategy up here, because there's going to be a lot of runs scored normally.
All right, Jim, we the media and the fans are making a big deal out of this streak. Tonight, your team knows the record, or at least tying the record is on the line. Does that make you play a little bit better, or does it enter the minds at all?
Well, I tell you, I think that the streak has helped us because I can see them really trying to bear down hard in the late innings this past week. And a couple of ball games, I thought that we played exceptionally well under pressure that maybe when you just go in like a regular ball club, you might let slip away. So we have some kids that are fairly courageous. So I don't think this type of thing is going to make them nervous. I think it's the type of thing that could give them a little bit of incentive to play a little better.
Okay, Jim Gilligan, manager of the Trappers. One item here, Jim. In 1980, when Lethbridge won 18 consecutive games, Idaho Falls ended the streak by winning number 19. Did you know that?
Nice guy.
We'll see what happens tonight. Craig?
Their 19th consecutive victory tonight, which is the longest winning streak in the nation, and if they get it, they will tie the Pioneer League record. Steve Cyphers is live in Idaho Falls, and Steve, please give us some good news.
Okay, Paul, we're here in the bottom of the 9th inning now. Idaho Falls at bat. Of course, you know that 19-game winning streak was set by Lethbridge back in 1980. The team that ended that winning streak was Idaho Falls. Tonight they are trying to end it again. I'll tell you right now, that's not going to happen. But now let's tell you how it happened. Let's go way back to earlier this evening, pregame.
How are you?
After playing before large crowds at Dirk, Salt Lake saw another one tonight at McDermott Field, but these fans weren't for the Trappers. Who's going to win tonight?
Idaho Falls, no doubt.
They've won 18 in a row, though, the Trappers.
Yeah, I know. Luck's got to fall sometime, don't it?
The Trapper luck was bad. Early, top of the first, the team's leading hitter, Frank Colson, went down looking. He argued the call, and umpire Phil Nickel ejected Colson. That man, Ed Citronelli, had to come off the bench for Colson, but Citronelli was ready. With a 1-0 lead in the third, his double down the line scored John Leake, and the Traps led by 2. Now, the Braves loaded the bases in the bottom of the fourth, but when Neil Reynolds made the play on the Phil Maldonado grounder, the inning was over. Salt Lake loaded the bases, too, in the top of the fifth. But unlike the Braves, the Trappers made it count when Jim Ferguson's two-out double, his third hit of the night, scored Leake, Malinak, and Casillas. That made it 5-0, and the record-tying win was all but in the books. Certainly, that's the way Trapper fan Gary Wilson saw it. He drove up from Salt Lake just to watch these games.
They've been playing real good ball tonight, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and win this game, and we're going to be here tomorrow night to cheer them on to win the 20th game.
And they'll get that one.
Oh, you betcha they will.
Well, I don't know about tomorrow night if they'll get that one, but they'll get this one because of that guy you're looking at right now, Koichi Ikeyua. He has shut down Idaho Falls, haven't scored a run all night since we talked to Gary Wilson. Ed Citronelli, Mike Malinak have each hit 2-run homers. The Trappers lead now with no outs in the bottom of the ninth, 13-0. We'll be back tomorrow night to see if they get that record-breaking 20th victory.
Tonight, the Traps go after number 20, and with it, a new Pioneer League record. Now, Steve Cyphers is in Idaho Falls for tonight's ball game, and Steve, I would guess if I was playing for the Traps, I'd be a little nervous. How about you?
Well, they might be a little bit nervous. It's understandable. I know I would be. But, throughout this streak, the players have been saying each game is no big deal, no different than any other game. And the streak's not that big a deal. Fun for the fans, but not to them. But last night, after they got number 19, Matt Huff told me about all those players, and he told me they weren't telling the truth.
They're lying. This is a great achievement for us. I mean, not only for Salt Lake, but for baseball itself. We're out here trying to prove ourselves that we can play ball, and I think it's a great accomplishment.
No argument from Idaho Falls. Last night's Trapper thrashing was thorough. From Koichi Ikeyua, who went the distance in shutting out the Braves, to catcher Ed Citronelli, who got into the game when Frank Colston got kicked out in the top of the first. Surprise replacement. Were you ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, at any time I'm on the bench, I'm ready to come in the game sooner or later.
Ready isn't the word. Citronelli doubled home a run, then hit a 2-run homer in relief of Colston, and Salt Lake exploded for 13 runs. A larger number of 19, as in 19 consecutive wins, means more, though. While it ties the Pioneer League record, it keeps the pressure on the players' nerves.
You've got to be able to handle that kind of stuff. You got to put the nerves behind you, and you just got to come out and play your game.
Too good to be nervous?
No, we're not that good. Are you kidding? I mean, why are we in rookie ball if we're that good?
Maybe they shouldn't be in rookie ball. No one's even close to the Trappers in the standings, and they're only one win away from erasing the record set by Lethbridge 7 years ago.
Great to get that 19th game and just say we did, tie it. But it'd be sweet to get that 20th game. Time is not good enough. I mean, we've come this way. We're going to have to finish it now.
So they go for it tonight. With a win, Ikeyua, who speaks Japanese, will add the word 20 to his English vocabulary. Last night he learned the word 19 and all that implies. 19. Is that good? Huh? Yes. That's good. Good.
As we mentioned, the ball game ended with a final score of 10-3. Salt Lake adding 5 more runs. The big blow coming in the top of the ninth when Anthony Blackman hit a 2-run homer for the Trappers. So they win at 10-3. They've won 20 games in a row. Joining me now, Frank Colston, the catcher of the Trappers. Frank, first of all, does this take the pressure off the team now?
Yeah, I guess it does. It takes a little bit of pressure off, but I really don't think the only pressure here was pressure that we probably put on ourselves. So, we'll go out tomorrow loose and hopefully win again. We'll play hard and we'll play to win again.
So the next question would be, how long can this winning streak stay alive?
As long as we keep it together. If we break down, we break down. If that happens, we'll work on coming back the next night and winning then.
And you're planning to celebrate by playing some Yahtzee tonight, I imagine?
Some Yahtzee and some potato chips. I think they got a bucket of Kool-Aid in there right now.
All right, Frank Colston joining me live at McDermott Field in Idaho Falls, where the Salt Lake Trappers have won number 20 in a row. They'll go for 21 tomorrow night, Steve.
Well, I'll tell you this, Paul, it's over. The game is over, and the streak isn't over. That means the record has been broken tonight. But before we tell you the story behind this game, let's go back to the pregame and the brief conversation I had with shortstop Jim Ferguson. Anyway, you guys get beat tonight?
Anyway, no way. Unless we don't go out and play.
Ferguson and friends backed up the bold prediction. With 2 outs in the first, John Leake doubled down the line, and then Matt Huff did likewise with an instant replay. Leake scored. The Traps led 1-0. They got 2 more in the second, when again with 2 outs, Ferguson singled to left to drive in Ed Citronelli and Frank Colston. In the bottom of the fourth, Salt Lake led by 5 when the Brave bats started sounding off. Back-to-back triples off a tiring Yoshiro Hiyama scored 1 run. Then Kevin McNeese cut the Traps' lead to 5-2 when he came home on a wild pitch. Salt Lake answered quickly, though, in the 6th. Leake's bases-loaded infield single scored Dave Ward from third, and that was followed by an Idaho Falls wild pitch, which brought in Anthony Blackman, and the Trappers were on their way to writing their names in the Pioneer League record book with 20 consecutive victories. They didn't need it, but the Trappers got 1 in the 8th and then 2 in the 9th when Blackman belted his 3rd home run of the year. Salt Lake led by 7 with a 10-3 score. And that's how it ended, 10-3, so the streak continues 20. It's a Pioneer League record. With me now is Matt Huff. Matt, how does it feel to have that Pioneer League record?
It feels great. You know, being in the record books in a minor league situation like this is it's always good. You know, especially in considering that we are professional athletes, you know, you're in the books as a pro athlete now, and college is something, but pros are a lot different.
Was there any extra pressure? Was tonight's game any different than the previous 19 in all candidates?
No. Tonight, in fact, we were more relaxed tonight than we were in any other game. We just had an error about us saying that we were going to win the game, knowing that the pitcher they started against us tonight, you know, he wasn't anything spectacular, and he was out in 2 innings. So as soon as we knew that, we knew we were going to win the game.
Okay, where do you go from here?
Well, hopefully continue on. You know, we're doing really great, and I think we continue the way we're going. Hopefully we won't lose a game, but if we do, it happens. But I think we'll be all right and win the division, hopefully the championship too.
Okay, Matt Huff, thank you very much. Congratulations, and I'll tell you where the Trappers are going. They're going back here tomorrow night to play Idaho Falls, then it's on to Pocatello, right?
Right.
All right. If they win those games, that streak will be up to 27 by the time they get back to Dirks Field. Back to you, Paul.
Game. Right now, that magic number is 22. The target is 27. If the Trappers get that far, Salt Lake will be the center of attention in the baseball world. Trappers whipped Pocatello today 9-4. The record for the Trappers that they're aiming at was set back in 1902 and 1921. Records may be made to be broken, but it's taken a long time to catch up to magic number 27.
Okay, so you don't have very much time to savor wins or be disappointed about your losses because you have to come right back the very next day and play.
We'll react good. Our main concern will be coming back the next day and winning again.
Takes a 1-0 lead as Jeff Dudig single brings in a run, but the Trappers come right back. Frank Colston brings in Ferguson to tie the game with 1-1. Then Anthony Blackman boosts one out of the park, a 2-run homer that makes it 7-1 Trappers. They win the first game 8-3 for their 24th straight win. They are leading in the nightcap 3-2 with 3 outs to go. And if they hold on, that will be their 25th straight win, just 2 wins away from the all-time baseball record of 27.
Early for the remaining general admission seats. Now, it has been a month to the day since the Trappers lost. Now, some of the 26 wins in a row have been easily had. Others, not so easy. Trapper manager Jim Gilligan is standing by live. And I guess, Jim, the first question is, as you have a chance to look back on this and what has happened in the last month, is there any game or series of games that really stands out for you?
Oh, I think the Medicine Hat series was a good one for us because they had what I consider to be one of the better ball clubs we've played this year. And we had to come from behind. We were down 2 runs going in the last inning and came back and beat them. And that was a real good win for us because we had several very easy wins. The prior road trip over at Great Falls. So we had to really work for it, and we beat a good club. We came back. The guys showed that they had the character to win that way. And I think it just made them believe that they can win in different fashions, and I think that's really been a turning point for us.
How tough was it the other night to be rained out and then to have to come play that doubleheader? We talked about the odds on sweeping a twin bill on the air here. They aren't good. How difficult was that for you to break the rhythm of a game a day and then go into the twin bill?
Well, the day off doesn't bother me at all. In fact, it sort of helps. You get to eat supper about 6:30, you know, instead of 12, and so the day off doesn't hurt. But playing the 7-inning doubleheaders is tough because they're just so scary. You know, the game is over so quick, and we're a good 7, 8, 9-inning ball club. And when you take away 2 of the 3 innings that we usually perform good in, that bothers me a little bit. But we did a good job. The guys, played tough from the start, and that was the key to it. And we had 2 close games, and fortunately we got by.
Well, you get all full 9 innings tonight. I know you got a lot of things to do in advance, but good luck to you, and we hope to be reporting number 27 in a row at 10.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Gilly.
You might recall that just last Monday, Pocatello almost ended the streak when they built a 9-3 lead over the Trappers. But then in the 7th inning, the Trappers came back with 8 runs. When Frank Colston hit this 2-run homer, the Trappers were on top. Mike Malinak scored. It was 10-9 at that time. The Trappers go on to win it 13-10. They haven't lost since June 24th. One reason they haven't lost is pitching. And with us right now is Mike Humphrey, last night's winning pitcher. Mike, you've been away from the team a little bit, a bit removed. You're not involved in tonight's game. What do you sense tonight? Is there pressure?
I really don't think so. Surprisingly, most of the guys, I'm sure, we've talked with them earlier, that we really don't feel that much pressure. The streak has been talked about. But to really, sit down and say, let's go eat at the same place every day, or, let's make sure we get out at the same time and work out, so we can kind of keep a little ritual going. It really hasn't been like that. I know it's on the back of my mind, and I'm sure it is amongst the other players, but we really haven't been talking about it. And I think tonight, though, we're going to come out strong.
What about this, though? Sports Illustrated is here taking pictures of you. You've seen yourselves on national television, CNN, ESPN. You're aware of that, aren't you?
Absolutely. It's great. Can't beat it. That's what we want, the recognition, and hopefully, that type of recognition and getting those big media people in here, bring the scouts in as well, and that's what we want, to get looked at.
Quickly, prediction. Tomorrow night, will you be back for 28?
We'll be back for 28 and then some.
Oh, okay. Mike Humphrey, thank you very much. We're here at Dirksville. We'll have the highlights tonight at 10, of course.
To put their names in the record book. We are just 3 outs away from history right now, and the Trappers are enjoying a very comfortable 7-2 lead over the Pocatello Giants, so this thing should hold up. Just 3 outs away, as I mentioned. It'll be over by the time we hit sports, and when we are in sports, we will have some highlights and also a live interview of one of the game's heroes. So 7-2 at the top of the 9th inning. Looks like history in the making.
Shelley, I'll tell you what, the Salt Lake Trappers are standing on history's doorstep with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning, 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. The Trappers lead the Pocatello Giants 7-2. Should they win, they tie the Corsicana Oilers and the Baltimore Orioles of the International League in 1921 with the all-time consecutive winning streak in professional baseball at 27. Tomorrow night they'll have a chance to break it if they hold on. We'll let you know if they hold on and how they got ahead coming up in sport.
Last night we told you about the national media attention generated by the Salt Lake Trappers' win streak. Well, tonight it all came into focus as the chance to tie the all-time professional baseball record of 27 consecutive wins came against the Pocatello Giants. Now, Wesley Ruff is standing by live from what was a packed dirt field. It is now cleared out, and it looks as though Wes is clearing in and out. There you go. Wes, situation tonight started out very well for Salt Lake, and then the game kind of went downhill a little bit from a fan standpoint.
It really did, Steve. In a game like this, you would expect a lot of drama, maybe go down to the last inning, see who's going to win this thing. But it didn't happen that way at all. The Trappers blew it open early, and the only question in the fans' mind was what time this game would get over. It eventually did, and the Trappers held on for a 7-2 victory. But there was a great fireworks show in the background, but the Trappers provided their own fireworks early in this game. Let's go to the highlights. We'll show you what happened in the bottom of the first inning in this game when Salt Lake trying to pull off the double steal. The catcher makes a wild throw, and Ferguson comes in and scores to make it 1-0 Salt Lake. Later that inning, Mike Malinek at the plate. He will rip a single to left field. And Leach, who is on third base, will score easily, and the Trappers lead 2-0. Then with the bases loaded, same inning, John Buter hits this one high, handsome, and history. A grand slam home run for Buter. That makes the lead 6-0 for Salt Lake, and they just coasted from there. That was in the bottom of the first inning, Steve. Pocatello went on to score a couple of runs, but really no threat to the Trappers today. They held on for the 7-2 victory. They have now won 27 games in a row. Joining me now live is Kent Hedrick, the winning pitcher. And Kent, first of all, the last time Salt Lake lost a game, you were on the mound. It was against the same Pocatello team. What was going through your mind tonight?
It's nothing was really going on. I wanted to win the game. I've beat them twice since that loss. That loss was in relief. It was my first appearance in relief, and it's kind of 2 fluke hits. I was kind of nervous coming in, but unfortunately I lost. But I've thrown twice against them so far and beat them, and tonight I just want to come out and throw strikes, and hopefully we score some runs early if we did.
Now, the Trappers, you had to know the media attention was there. What about the nervousness for you? You gave up 9-10 hits, or I guess 5 hits you gave up, and a little shaky there in the second inning when the Pocatello Giants scored.
Going in, I wasn't nervous at all. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I do get jitters before the game, but tonight everybody in the locker room was they were laid back. We knew we'd come out and win. It's been that way for about a month now since the streak's been going on, but I wasn't nervous at all. Second inning, I got a couple pitches up, and they got a couple guys on, and I think we made an error. I'm not really sure. I don't remember, but nervousness, I wasn't nervous, really.
All right, the only question left then is how long can this thing go on?
That's hopefully another, 60-some games. There's no need for us to lose. We can hit the ball as well as anybody around. Our pitching staff's throwing good right now, and hopefully, at least we get one more tomorrow, let's hope.
All right, everything's working well for the Salt Lake Trappers. They have now won 27 ball games in a row. They have not lost for a calendar month, Steve. So tomorrow night, they'll go for the record by themselves.
That drove in 4 runs, a grand slam, the first for the Trappers this season, not the first in John Buter's career as he crosses the plate. John's with me. John, what do you think of that? How does that look on TV?
Yeah, it looks great. What's nice about it is it happening on such an important day. That's what makes me really feel good about it.
When you hit that, did you know it was gone?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
All right, now how about this record? 27 tonight, 28 tomorrow. Is it good enough to tie it? I mean, you're in the record books.
It's a little relaxing to tie, but you got to go break records. You got to be in there yourself, erase some people, and put us in there by ourselves.
What do you think of Corsicana, Texas, and the Oilers of 1902?
Well, it's a tough task to go ahead and win 27 in a row, so they must have a pretty good ball club.
I asked Mike Humphrey this afternoon. Now I'm asking you now. Will you get 28 tomorrow?
We'll get it.
That's a guarantee.
Well, I guarantee it right here on TV.
Okay. John Buter, I put you on the spot. Great hit. Good luck. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
ABC's Wide World of Sports Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Acura, Legend and Integra. Precision-crafted automobiles exclusively at your Acura dealer.
This first inning Grand Slam highlighted the 7-2 win over the Pocatello Giants, which tied the professional record set by the Corsicana, Texas Oilers in 1902 and equaled by the old minor league Baltimore Orioles. Now, with a win against the Giants tonight, the record will belong to the Class A Trappers. And for their incredible achievement, we have named them our Athletes of the Week. And standing by live now in Salt Lake City is the Trappers catcher and the Pioneer League's leading hitter, Frank Colston, along with the Trappers shortstop, Jim Ferguson. Gentlemen, congratulations and good afternoon. You know, you've had a lot of press attention this past week, Sports Illustrated, USA Today, and now us. Frank, to a team that's not used to all that commotion, has it been a big distraction?
It's been a little bit of a distraction, but we're just taking advantage of it, really, and using it to our advantage right now, and we're still coming out playing hard baseball.
Jim, what has been the reaction of the people of Salt Lake to this incredible streak?
The city's kind of in an outrage right now. Everybody's really excited. The city's, everybody loves it. We're getting good crowds at the park. Like tonight, the park is going to be filled. There's going to be at least 10,000 people here, and probably more banging on the door waiting to get in.
As you said, the park will be almost filled tonight, about 10,000 expected. Are you going to be able to treat this as just another game? Jim?
Yeah, we love the crowd. You know, it gets us pumped up to have that many people cheering us on, and fans love us, and we got to thank them for coming out and to support us.
All right, Frank and Jim, congratulations and thank you very much. Our Wide World of Sports Athletes of the Week, and good luck against the Giants. We'll be back right after this with more on Wide World of Sports.
Those yellow book tickets are not good now tonight. You have to have the data tickets, please.
Thank you. I know the Trappers are going to win because they won 27 in a row. They're going to keep on winning.
These guys are better than the Dodgers, okay? I'm from California, and Dodgers are not as good as these guys.
This is something that may never, ever happen again in the history of baseball. It's taken 85 years for this to happen.
We're all sold out. There's no possibility of getting in.
Several years from now, 20,000 will say they were there. That's the way it is with history.
To me, that's the greatest thing about this whole streak is that our guys are recognized.
The guys worked for that recognition. They haven't lost a game in more than a month. In fact, lose is a word that's hard to remember, like the milk at the grocery store on your way home from work. Last night, though, they didn't drink milk.
Does that sting? No, it feels great. Sting of pleasure, that's what it is.
How long will this record last?
Oh, it'll never be broken. Till tomorrow.
Neil Reynolds was right. This afternoon, just 18 hours after the Traps broke the 85-year-old record, they broke it again. Ed Citronelli's 3-run homer put the Traps on top in the bottom of the fifth. They held on to win it 8-6 for their 29th consecutive victory.
A streak that is providing a lot of publicity not only for the Trappers but the Pioneer League as well.
This is a great boost for minor league baseball. I think it's just a super thing, and as far as we're concerned, it's giving great exposure to some guys that deserve a shot to go on and play. And to me, that's the greatest thing about this whole streak, is that our guys are recognized as winners and as guys that can put it together day after day for a solid month. And who knows, maybe it'll go 2 months, I don't know, maybe it'll end tomorrow, but they've shown me something.
The longest winning streak in baseball history. They won today, as they have so often in the past month, coming from behind to beat Pocatello 8-6. As KUTV's Michael Rawson reports, the Trappers' struggles today may have had something to do with what happened last night.
Trappers, ladies and gentlemen, 28 consecutive wins.
Baseball's orphans are on their way to the Hall of Fame. Well, at least last night's scorebook is. The Trappers celebrated as though they'd won the pennant. Some worried they may have celebrated too much. The revelry continued today, and while the national media types had all left, Taco Time sent a photographer to immortalize the Trappers in their own baseball cards.
How about this one, Dave?
The Trappers are loose. Some admit to being a little hungover. They all cling to some weird superstition. Slugger Ed Citronelli keeps his bat wrapped before games.
This is just to keep it hot, the hitting streak hot or whatever,
The players are awed by what they've done. No one, not even when they were in the Little Leagues, could imagine winning 28 games in a row.
This is awesome. I've never in my life had anything happen like this in, baseball or any other sport or anything in any facet of my life. This is what it's all about, and if I don't get picked up after this year, I can look back and say I had a super year.
They were all overlooked by big league teams. Major League scouts thought the Trappers just didn't have what it takes. Now baseball is being forced to take another look. And the players have been given a second chance.
Scouts know that we've been winning some ball games. So they know that some good players are playing here. So what happens now is scouts are going to come watch us, and eventually some of us are going to go somewhere.
And the fans, they see no reason the streak has to end.
We love them.
What do you think? Is it going to ever end?
No. I think they're going to go this whole season.
Boy, it's just beyond belief if a team could win 28 straight.
The players, though, know they can't go on winning forever.
You lost that love and feeling.
But for now, baseball's Cinderella team can laugh at its critics. And the love affair between the Trappers and their city seems strong enough to survive at least one bad ball game, if that should ever happen. Michael Rawson, KUTV News.
An emotional letdown as well.
Do you think there'll be some kind of a letdown today?
Oh, it would be understandable if there was, because as you said, it was quite a relief to get that game over with.
It looked like the letdown was coming sooner than Gilligan would have liked. Pocatello's Eric Johnson singled to left field to drive in Santana, and the Giants jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the top of the first inning. But Gilligan still had confidence in his troops.
Most of these guys play hard all the time, so I don't think it's going to be hard to get them up for the ball game. It's maybe not as up as last night.
Gilligan's players did him proud. Mike Malinek's sacrifice fly in the bottom of the fourth inning brought in John Leake, and that tied things at 3 apiece. The Giants then went up 4-3 in the fifth inning, but then Ed Citronelli unloads on this pitch. He hit it high, handsome, and history. The result, a 3-run homer that gave the Trappers their first lead of the game. Now, Pocatello scored twice in the top of the sixth inning. That tied things at 6 apiece. But the Trappers, who haven't lost for an entire month, would not lose today. They rallied for 2 runs of their own in their half of the sixth inning, and they held on to win it by a final score of 8-6 for their 29th consecutive victory. The Trappers will now take professional baseball's longest winning streak on the road for 3 games in Billings against the Northern Division leading Mustangs.
Tonight, rock star Huey Lewis and the News sang the national anthem. Huey threw out the first ball. The Trappers took over from there. Third inning, with 2 men on before another big crowd, Citronelli comes through with a big hit. Ferguson and Buter score. It is 2-0 Trappers in the third. And then moments later, Neil Reynolds hits one to the wall. The Copper Kings fielder can't find the ball, can't make the play. 2 more runs score. The Trappers win the game tonight by a score of 9-1, and they sweep the series with Butte.
and it is their 20th consecutive.
When Frank Colston singled home Ed Citronelli in the bottom of the second, it helped the Traps take a 2-0 lead. They got 2 more in the bottom of the next inning. That happened when Matt Huff drilled this 2-run double to right field. It'll take a bounce off the wall. First, Neil Reynolds will score, but the most fun run of the night. Watch Adam Casillas. Up and around, over, here, touch. Now he counts it. They took a 4-run lead, and unlike recent games, Salt Lake held on to win it 6-2.
Place in Helena between the Brewers and the Trappers. Now, Salt Lake is the 2-time defending league champion, and as Wesley Ruff reports, the Trappers are ready for number 3 despite their late-season slump.
After winning 29 games in a row early this year, the Trappers kind of coasted into the Southern Division title. The intensity level was not as high during the second half of the season, but now, with everything on the line, manager Jim Gilligan thinks the level attained during the streak will be back.
Just can't bear down that hard all year long, and I'm talking about from a manager's and player's standpoint. There has to be a point in the season where you can coast a little bit. No room to coast in the playoffs.
Helena has played better than Salt Lake during the past month. The Brewers went 23-11, while the Trappers struggled to go 18-18. Helena also won 5 of 7 games against Salt Lake. So what areas will the Trappers have to improve on to win?
The hitting, pitching, and defense. You know, it's the playoffs. It's a whole other season, and you gotta play your best right now.
The Trappers appear confident they can play their best now, and they desperately want to win both games at Helena.
I don't like that philosophy of going up there trying to go 50-50. We're going up there to win the first ball game. If we win the first one, we sure don't want to split.
Gilligan asked his players to do some daydreaming today, thinking back on what they did when things were going well. And tonight, he wants to see that kind of play on the field.
Had a chance to make it 3 in a row tonight. That is 3 consecutive Pioneer League championships, and they did it. Wesley Ruff is standing by live in the locker room at Dirks Field. And first of all, Wes, I have to say you look remarkably dry for someone who's been through a championship locker room celebration. What happened? They didn't want to waste the champagne on you or what?
They didn't want to waste it on me, Steve, but I'll tell you, I haven't seen this much champagne flow since the Sean Penn Madonna wedding, which, of course, I was invited to. But this thing was a lot funner than that wedding. The 3rd straight championship for the Salt Lake Trappers, and boy, they deserved it. And what a hard-fought game it was tonight. Let's show you the highlights, and we'll tell you about what happened. First of all, the Trappers got things rolling. In the first inning, they loaded the bases, and Matt Huff hits one that's too hot to handle for the shortstop. Fergie and Buter both come in to score, and Salt Lake jumps out to a 2-0 lead. Now the next hitter is Mike Malinak coming to the plate with that 2-0 lead. He grounds out, but Adam Casillas comes home on the play, and just like that, Salt Lake enjoyed a 3-0 lead. And they lost the shutout in the 4th. Dave Nilsson leads off with a shot that bounces off the wall in right field, and Nilsson comes in 3rd with a stand-up triple. Just a couple batters later, Tim Raley brings Nilsson in on the fielder's choice, and Salt Lake's lead is cut to 3-1. Big scare in the 8th inning, though. The Brewers had the bases loaded, nobody out. Tim Peters came on in relief, and he gets the big double play ball here. 1 run scores, but the Trappers get out of a potentially disastrous inning. Top of the 9th now we go. The final out here, Peters, a short little grounder. He throws him out. That's it. Salt Lake wins it 3-2 to wrap up the championship. They win the best-of-5 series 3-1. And for their 3rd straight Pioneer League championship. Joining me now live at the spark plug of the team all year long, shortstop Jim Ferguson. Jim, first of all, how did it feel out there?
Oh, it was a great feeling. You know, it's been a great year. You know, we had the streak and everything, but this was the most important thing, to win the championship. And we went out there tonight and played our best, and we came up on top.
Does this make this streak even sweeter?
Oh, yeah, it does, because, you know, if we didn't win the championship, everybody would have said the streak was a fluke, you know. They just run into some good luck. But now we proved that we're the best team in the Pioneer League, and we showed it tonight.
Now, you guys are the best. What happens to you guys? What do you do from here?
Well, hopefully tonight, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but we'll get picked up by other teams. A lot of guys have already, and hopefully we can continue our baseball careers.
All right, now I know you're tired. You're going to go home and go right to bed. No partying. Is that right?
Yeah, you know, it was a tough game. You know, I'm going home to bed, maybe watch a little Johnny Carson or something, but...
He was just kidding. He's going to watch Channel 4 Magnum PI coming up in just a minute. Jim Ferguson, thank you for joining us. The final 3-2. and the Trappers win their third consecutive Pioneer League championship. Steve?
All right, Craig. Jay, I tell you what, it was a lot of fun tonight. And as you mentioned, this game was kind of up in the air. We had some wet weather around 6 o'clock tonight, but they got the field in shape, and they did play baseball, and the Trappers won this contest. Let's take a look and show you how the Trappers won their third straight Pioneer League championship. The Traps loaded up the bases in the first. Matt Huff right here will bounce the ball over the second baseman's glove. 2 big runs score. In fact, the Traps got another run in the first to open up a 3-0 lead. Kent Hetrick pitched 7 strong innings tonight. He allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, and he got 5 strikeouts tonight. Pitched very well, but he did get into some trouble in the 8th inning. The Brewers loaded the bases, but the Vulture, Tim Peters, comes in, gets the big double play. However, a run scores to make it a 3-2 ball game. Brewers threatened in the 9th to tie the game, but the Trappers held on, winning their third straight Pioneer League title tonight. 3 games to 1 over the Brewers. The final in Game 4, 3-2. And Kent Hetrick, the starting pitcher tonight, with me. Tell you what a great season you guys have had.
Thanks a lot. It's been real great. We've never doubted ourselves. We went through the streak, 29 straight. People might have started doubting us after that. We went a little laps, played 500 ball. I think it might have been from might have been a little tired coming in. Pumped ourselves for the playoffs. We had to. It just feels good to win.
I want to show you here now. This is about 20 minutes ago in this locker room. Kent, it was a wild scene. It was a dream season. It's almost like you guys could maybe make a movie out of this year.
I tell you, the 29th straight is one thing, but the championship is just icing on the cake. It just wouldn't have felt right if we didn't win. Movie, that'd be great. I'd like to star in it, actually.
Well, congratulations. A great season, and hopefully the future will hold good things for you.
Thank you very much.
All right, PJ. It was a great ball game tonight. The Trappers hold on to win it 3-2, and they capture their third straight Pioneer League championship. Let's send it back to you.
The road in mediocre style. 3 wins and 3 losses. But on June 25th, they opened at home, and little did we know then that the longest-running act in baseball had just begun. The Trappers beat Pocatello 12-6. They won the next night, too, and the night after that, and the night after that. Home or away, Salt Lake kept winning. By the time they beat Idaho Falls in mid-July, the streak numbered 19, and that tied Lethbridge for a Pioneer League record.
Great to get that 19th game to just say we did, tie it. But it'd be sweet to get that 20th game.
20 was a piece of cake, 10-3 over the Braves. But nobody felt like losing, so the streak continued. On July 21st, the Trappers took a pair from Idaho Falls to give them 25 in a row, and the talk turned to 27, the all-time baseball record for consecutive wins held by the 1921 Baltimore Orioles and the 1902 Corsicana Oilers.
I don't even know who Corsicana, Texas is.
I broke down here one night coming home from Dallas, so I'd like to sort of get back at him.
On Pioneer Day night, John Buter's Grand Slam guaranteed a Trapper win over Pocatello. That tied the record. That night, Buter guaranteed the Trappers would break it. Will you get 28 tomorrow?
We'll get it.
That's a guarantee.
Well, I guarantee it right here on TV.
Box seats are all sold out. They sold out yesterday.
Some 10,000 fans saw the game that night. In 20 years, 10,000 more will claim they did. That's the way it is with history, and that was the night the history happened. It wasn't even close.
It's just great to be here. We did it. I'm glad I'm in Salt Lake City.
Does that sting?
No, it feels great. Sting of pleasure.
The record shows the Trappers would go on to win 29 straight in their third consecutive league championship. But the record we'll remember is the one they set that Saturday night in July.
Who in minor league ball gets to be in the Hall of Fame,
How long will this record last?
Oh, it'll never be broken.
Salt Lake Trappers stand alone. Professional baseball's longest winning streak, 28 straight games.
The Whiz Kids had won it, Bobby Thompson had done it, and Yogi read the comics all the while. Rock and roll was being born, marijuana we would scorn. So down on the corner, the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Well, Casey was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell, the Thumper and Mel Parnell.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Good night.
Watching.
It's a lot of manual work. You cut the infield grass every day, you cut the outfield every other day, and you hose it down every half hour. And then around 7 o'clock, 18 guys come out and mess it all up.
The tractor is one of the few modern additions to the ritual of making dirt into a ballpark. But the rake is still the only way to break up a hard clump. Tom will rake the home plate area 2 or 3 more times today.
Don't push a button and it's done. I wish it was.
You have to start early in the morning. There is only one way to make ground hard enough to forgive a 190-pound man's cleats. You have to water it, let it bake, and water it just to let it bake again and again. And it will be scuffed up, torn up, and trampled upon once more. For 6 years, Tom has been going out the next day to fix it up once more.
I enjoy it. I like working outside. I tried working in the office here, and it wasn't my thing here.
There is no shortcut. There is no quick way. No one will thank him for having a straight line that meant a fair ball didn't become foul. Few will ever watch his patient walk day after day. This is just for batting practice. He will walk once more for the game. It's not easy. Too much chalk, too little, and push a cart through the dirt. And in a straight line, wait till the ump sees this. The first fans arrive. Tom's day is already over 8 hours old. The same base paths are swept the same way as they were just hours before. And the mound gets yet another beating. And the field is now a park.
I think it all starts with the mountains, behind the ballpark. That's what's really nice about it. It's like a frame of a picture. And this just makes the ballpark look really even nicer.
You know, at this point of the season, most Trapper fans know most of the Trappers. Of course, manager Barry Moss is well known, as is catcher Mike Feibel. But there is one man very few people have seen, but they have heard this man, but they should get to know him. Doug Miller has the story of the mystery man of the Salt Lake Trappers.
Kicks and delivers. The 1-2 pitch to O'Leary. Swung on and missed. He struck him out.
Home and away, Kurt Wilson calls the action at every Trapper baseball game.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. The wind is starting to blow in. That means Pete Diamond is on the way.
So who's Pete Diamond?
He's a genius. He's beyond genius. I don't know how else to describe him or explain him. He's the best. You know, I'm in broadcasting. Men in my business base their careers on Pete Diamond.
Pete Diamond along here for the absent Kurt Wilson. He's gone on to grab a bite to eat. Don't miss him too much. He's not that good.
And while many sing his praise, including himself, few people have actually laid eyes on the elusive Pete Diamond.
I've seen him, but not for a long period of time. I mean, he's there, and then he's gone.
And I never met the guy, and I don't even know what he looks like. Wilson, I think, is the only guy who's ever seen him. He's a very elusive type. He even throws away those sweepstakes entries that have Ed McMahon's picture because he doesn't want Ed looking at him. It's a tough life for Pete.
Roebuck will score.
And, according to Wilson, Diamond has struggled to overcome adversity his entire career.
I met Pete a couple of years back. He was in a home for disabled play-by-play announcers. It seems as if his lifelong dream was to be a play-by-play announcer in baseball, and he got his first chance at Oneonta in the New York Penn League. So he was adding up the strikeouts. All of a sudden, the next batter fouled one back. Bang. It got Pete in the head.
Diamond's never fully recovered from that foul ball. Maybe that's why he's camera shy. But thanks to Wilson, he is fulfilling his dream of broadcasting professional baseball.
It's amazing. Here you have a Japanese pitcher who cannot speak English being instructed by a Mexican pitching coach who cannot speak Spanish.
And as long as the wind blows at Dirks Field and a handful of people still believe, Pete Diamond will make his own brand of magic on the airwaves.
And too bad this is not Canadian football, where you can score at any given time throughout the ballgame.
Well, the Pete Diamond, the mystery man, goes on.
Welcome to Primetime Access. We're here live at Dirks Field for the season opener home game for the Salt Lake Trappers tonight. Good evening. I'm Bruce Lynn. Well, Bruce, I wish I was a baseball scout, but I tell you what, one thing I can guarantee about the Salt Lake Trappers, Rookie League baseball is a lot of fun. One thing, they do come out and play night after night, day after day. For a lot of these guys, it may be their final opportunity to what we call the big league. So you know they're going to come out here and really battle to see who is the best and see if they can get a shot at making the AAA or maybe on up to the top. The Salt Lake Trappers have a lot of talent. They've got a good pitching staff. They've got some power. So I would say one thing, if you spend $3 to come out to watch the Trappers, you will be at least entertained all season long. Most of the fans who are regulars in the stands are acquainted with one Foul Ball Bob, and I think you ought to meet him as well when he's not here at the baseball game, which is only when there isn't a baseball game because he's always here. He goes by the name Bob Langton. Thank you for joining us this evening. They tell me you are an institution here.
Yes, I've been here. I've been coming here ever since the Salt Lake Bees were here.
And where do we get this name of Foul Ball Bob?
Well, one night I was watching the balls and they were going out of the park and in the stands, and those balls were good home runs, and in the bullpen I said, my gosh, I think I can make a pool out of something like that. So I thought of counting each one of those balls, and everybody could draw a number out of a hat or a box or whatever. And I start with number 10 on the book here.
So you're telling chances for people to guess how many foul balls are hit out of the park or in the bleachers.
Yes, and home runs count too, and in the bullpen.
And you sell the chance?
Yep, I count each one as they go out.
Okay, how much does it cost?
$1 a chance.
And you keep any back for yourself?
No, I just take a free chance.
You take a free chance for the administrative expense?
Yes, I take care of the...
With the clicker, you find out how many are going over the fence.
Count them each one as they go out.
You're what they call a bookie, aren't you?
Well, hey. Not really. We're just having a little fun.
I mean, the state of Utah takes a pretty dim view of this activity.
Wouldn't it make it a little interesting?
Never have any problems from the Vice Squad?
No,
I saw you out there selling your chances before we went on the air, and there were a couple of policemen standing around. Did they ever sign on? Oh, they do?
Yes,
All right. Well, you're covered. You're covered. What do you like at the ball game besides the pool that you have going? What is it that's exciting for you?
Oh, I like the ball players. They're terrific. I mean, they're a bunch of terrific big fellas. We won it all last year, and I knew we were going to win it. And they were just real great.
Who's going to win your pool tonight? How many balls over the fence?
Well, I would say it would probably be in the 20s tonight. Somebody that's got a 20.
And what will he win? $20, $30? $20. $20
pot.
Okay. What do you do when you're not at the ball game?
I work for the Sweet Candy Company.
You bring candy to chew on up here in the stand?
Yes, cinnamon bears and...
Where do you sit, Bob? I'll be joining you up there.
Right over here.
Thanks very much for being our guest.
You're welcome.
We've got to take a break here, and then we'll be back with more Primetime Access and Peanuts and Cracker Jacks after these messages.
Gilligan will be playing as many people as he can tonight, trying to find out just what kind of a ball club he has.
And it'll be good for them to play together as a club prior to opening up. So I'm glad we scheduled this last year. We just had a game with a semi-pro team, and I didn't think it did the same thing. Everybody was still a little nervous when we opened up, but this way they'll get the nervousness behind them, and I think when we open up, they'll be ready to go.
Very tense game tonight in Pocatello as the Trappers were going for their 21st consecutive victory against the Pocatello Giants. Now, this one was the toughest one yet. The score was 1-0 heading into the 8th inning for Pocatello. Salt Lake finally got on the board and tied at 8-8, and it stayed that way until the top of the 12th inning when Salt Lake's Mike Malinek hit a solo home run to give Salt Lake its first lead of the game. Salt Lake added one more run in the top of the 12th inning to hold on for a very tough 3-1 victory over Pocatello for their 21st consecutive victory. Now, the Trappers almost lost this game in the bottom of the 10th when Pocatello had the bases loaded with only one out, but Salt Lake managed to get out of that jam, and in the bottom of the 12th inning, Tim Peters picked up the victory for Salt Lake, his 7th of the year. So the Trappers' winning streak is still alive. They will go for number 22 tomorrow against those same Pocatello Giants.
I love it. These are the kind of games I love to manage. You know,
the kind where I got to come in, bring in a left-hander, bring in a right-hander, and try to think of a way to score a run. Those things are tough on your stomach. Tonight, I'm going to say very, very easy because this was just to cross your legs and watch them play.
Excellent. Koichi's, going into what, the 8th inning now? He's getting stronger every inning he pitches, and the batters are great. They're hitting beautiful.
How long do you think it's going to go on?
They got to get beat sometime, but we'll just enjoy it while we have. They could another few more, I guess. Take it while we can.
You going to stay for the game tomorrow?
No, I got to get back. I got to be in the office by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Trappers have a different formula. They just try to win them all. They've been doing that since late June. Tonight, the Trappers took their celebrated 22-game winning streak into the final road game of the current swing up north. And the final score, the Salt Lake Trappers 13, Pocatello 10. The winning streak is now 23 in a row. The Trappers now move their base of operations back home to the friendly confines of Dirks Field. Idaho Falls in town tomorrow night.
And then they fell behind 4-3. Pocatello then went ahead 9-3, and it looked like it was all over. But the Trappers then came up with 8 runs on 3 home runs, 9 hits to take the lead 11-9. They held on for a 13-10 victory, their 23rd consecutive win. They return home tomorrow to Dirks Field and on a 23-game winning streak.
25-game win streak. That's an improbability as well. So what it all boils down to is the odds don't matter a whole hill of beans. It boils down to playing hardball. And that's what the Trappers did in Game 1 tonight of their doubleheader. They played hardball. You need a little luck every once in a while, though. And Adam Casillas raises his batting average when this brute single falls in. The guy can't quite get to it. Now, the Trappers are not always so lucky. Here's how not to play a pop fly. I got it, you got it, neither of us got it. Ed Citronelli's RBI shingle helped Salt Lake to an 8-3 first-game win tonight. So they are 50% home at the end of the first game. In the second game, it is Ed Citronelli again at the plate, this time in the second inning of game number 2. His deep blast here will score Matt Huff. This gets Salt Lake rolling in the second inning of the second game, and they lead by a score of 1-0 when Huff crosses the plate. Then it's Neil Reynolds. He puts Salt Lake up by a score of 3-1 as this chopper goes through the hole, and Dave Ward will score. It is now 3-2 Salt Lake. They are in the bottom of the 6th inning, and they have 2 aboard. So we'll see what happens there.
Much for them to play for, except pride. They showed a little of that today at Dirks Field by coming from behind to beat Helena, the team they will probably meet in the upcoming playoffs. Now, things started out badly for the Trappers. Watch as shortstop Jim Ferguson appears to make the easy catch, but then boots it into left field. Everyone is safe. Now, Helena also had its problems today. The second baseman makes a great play, but leaves the ball on the ground. Trailing 1-0, Salt Lake's Anthony Blackman comes up with a clutch hit that brings in John Buter and Jim Ferguson to give Salt Lake a 2-1 lead. But then in the top of the 6th, Helena's Marrero doubles into right field. That will bring in a couple of Brewers, and Helena had a 5-3 lead. But Salt Lake would come back to not only tie the game, but they would go on to win it. 9-5 was the final. Salt Lake picking up the victory. The Trappers now take to the road for 4 games in Idaho Falls and Butte, Montana.